Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and complex topics of our time: technology and human relationships. Let's be honest, we live in a world where technology is no longer just a tool. It's a lifestyle, a culture, and in many ways the invisible thread that connects, or sometimes disconnects, us from one another. From the moment we wake up to the moment we fall asleep, technology shapes the way we communicate, love, argue, make friends, and even the way we feel about ourselves. Think about this. How many people did you talk to today? Not in person, but through a screen. How many times did you check your phone during a conversation with someone sitting right next to you? And when was the last time you truly listened to someone, without the distraction of a notification buzzing in your pocket? Technology was supposed to make our lives easier, and in many ways it has. But at the same time, it's also reshaping the way we experience relationships. Some would say it's bringing us closer together. Others argue it's slowly pulling us apart. The truth probably lies somewhere in between. In this episode, we're going to explore that gray area, the complex intersection where technology meets human connection. We'll talk about how digital communication has changed friendship, love, family bonds, and even our sense of empathy. We'll look at the positive sides, the ways technology helps us maintain connections across time zones, find love online, or support each other through tough times. But we'll also confront the darker sides, the loneliness behind constant connectivity, the misunderstandings that arise from texting instead of talking, and the emotional distance that sometimes grows in a world that's more connected than ever. So, grab your headphones, take a deep breath, and let's start by looking back at how we got here. There was a time when relationships were built face-to-face, through shared experiences, eye contact, and emotional presence. People wrote letters that took days or weeks to arrive, and every word mattered. When someone was far away, you missed them, deeply. And that feeling of longing was a part of what made relationships real. You had to wait, and that waiting carried meaning. Then came the age of telephones, which made distance feel smaller. Suddenly you could hear a loved one's voice miles away. Later, with emails, instant messages, and video calls, we bridged not just miles but entire continents. Technology didn't just speed up communication, it changed our emotional rhythms. Relationships became faster, more immediate, more accessible, but also more fragile. Now in the digital era, connection is instantaneous. We can message, call, or FaceTime anyone, anywhere, at any time. But ironically, many people report feeling more isolated than ever. Studies show that while we're more connected, we're also lonelier. Why? Because connection and intimacy aren't the same thing. You can have 1,000 followers and still feel invisible. You can text someone every day and still not really know them. Let's take friendship as an example. Social media has redefined what it means to be friends. We add people with a click, like their posts, and react to their stories. But how often do we actually engage in meaningful conversations? Online friendship can be wonderful. You can stay in touch with people you'd otherwise lose contact with, discover shared interests, and build communities across borders. But it also creates a kind of surface-level intimacy, where you know everything about someone's life without truly being part of it. This constant stream of digital interactions can make us feel connected, but also exhausted. We scroll through people's highlight reels, compare their happiness to our own, and sometimes end up feeling left out or inadequate. Psychologists call this the comparison trap, and it's one of the hidden emotional costs of living in a hyper-connected world. Love has changed too. Dating apps have revolutionized the way people meet, making it possible to find partners through algorithms and swipes rather than chance encounters. For some, this has opened amazing opportunities, especially for people who might not have met otherwise. But for others, it's turned romance into a marketplace, where attraction can feel transactional and connection can feel temporary. Technology has made dating more convenient, but not necessarily more meaningful. A study by the Pew Research Center found that more than half of users say online dating makes it easier to meet people, but also easier to ghost them. The rise of swipe culture has led to what some call relationship consumerism, where people treat partners as products, quickly moving on when something feels imperfect. Yet, we can't deny that technology has also enabled love to flourish in new ways. Long-distance couples can now share their lives in real time. Families separated by migration can see each other's faces every day. And communities that once felt invisible, like LGBTQ+ individuals in conservative societies, can find acceptance, support, and love online. The key point is that technology itself isn't good or bad. It's neutral. What matters is how we use it. It amplifies human behavior. If we use it with empathy and awareness, it can bring us closer. If we use it mindlessly, it can slowly erode the depth of our connections. Let's talk about families. Parents today often worry about how much time their children spend on screens, while children feel frustrated that their parents don't understand the digital world they live in. Family dinners are often interrupted by notifications, and conversations compete with glowing screens. It's not that families don't care about each other anymore, it's that our attention has become fragmented. Psychologists now speak of something called phubbing, short for phone snubbing, which happens when you ignore someone in front of you because you're focused on your phone. Studies show that phubbing can harm relationships, lower satisfaction, and even increase depression. Imagine sharing something important with a friend, and instead of listening, they check a text. That small moment can create emotional distance. Technology has also reshaped our sense of empathy. In face-to-face interactions, we pick up on tone, body language, and subtle emotional cues. But online, those signals disappear. A sarcastic comment might sound rude in text form. A short reply might seem cold. Without context, misunderstandings easily happen. That's why digital communication often lacks emotional depth. It's efficient, but not always empathetic. And yet, in moments of crisis, technology can unite us in powerful ways. During natural disasters or pandemics, social media becomes a lifeline, helping people organize aid, share hope, and comfort each other. During the COVID-19 lockdowns, technology was what kept us sane, allowing us to work, learn, and connect, even when we couldn't meet in person. So, technology is not the enemy of human relationships. It's the mirror. It reflects who we are, how we communicate, and what we value. The problem isn't the smartphone, it's our dependence on it. It's not social media that isolates us. It's the way we use it to replace genuine human contact instead of enhancing it. Let's reflect on something deeper. How technology affects the quality of our attention. When we're constantly multitasking, switching between chats, videos, and apps, our ability to focus, and therefore to connect, weakens. Real intimacy requires presence, and presence requires attention. But in an age of constant distraction, attention has become the new luxury. Some experts even describe attention as the currency of relationships. When we give someone our full attention, truly listen, without interruptions, we're saying, "You matter." But when we constantly glance at our screens, we're silently saying, "Something else matters more." That's why the greatest gift you can give today isn't money, or even time, it's attention. So how do we balance this? How can we embrace technology without letting it erode our human connections? Maybe the first step is awareness, becoming conscious of how we use technology, not as a substitute for relationships, but as a tool to support them. Maybe it's about setting boundaries, like having screen-free meals or turning off notifications during conversations. Or maybe it's about learning digital empathy, remembering that behind every text or post, there's a real person with feelings. As we move deeper into this topic, we'll explore how technology changes different kinds of relationships, romantic, familial, professional, and even our relationship with ourselves. Because yes, technology doesn't just affect how we relate to others, it also affects how we see ourselves, how we measure our worth, and how we define human connection in a digital age. And maybe, just maybe, the biggest challenge of our generation isn't learning how to use technology, but remembering how to be human while using it. The truth is, technology hasn't just changed how we connect, it has changed what we expect from connection itself. We've become used to instant replies, to having access to everyone at any time, to being reachable. This expectation subtly changes our patience. When someone doesn't text back quickly, we don't just wait, we wonder. Are they ignoring us? Are they upset? Have they lost interest? In a world before smartphones, silence was just silence. Now silence feels like rejection. And this is where technology becomes emotionally complicated. It compresses time and space, but it also amplifies insecurity. A single unread message can cause anxiety. A lack of response can feel like abandonment. We start reading emotional meaning into every digital gesture, even though half the time it's just someone being busy or tired. That's the paradox. We have more ways to communicate than ever, yet more people feel misunderstood. Another big shift is the way relationships start and end. Dating apps, for instance, have made meeting new people incredibly convenient. You can meet someone in another city, another country, or even another continent, all with a swipe. The possibilities are endless, but that abundance comes with a new problem: choice overload. When you know there are thousands of profiles waiting for you, it becomes easier to give up quickly. Instead of working through misunderstandings or imperfections, we move on. Why bother? There's always someone else. This mentality, often called the paradox of choice, makes relationships more disposable. Technology has turned dating into a marketplace. Efficient, data-driven, optimized, but also transactional. We filter people by interests, age, height, or even zodiac signs, as if we're customizing a product. But love doesn't work like an algorithm. It's messy, unpredictable, emotional, the very things technology tries to simplify. Even breakups have changed. There's no clean separation anymore. You still see their posts, their photos, their stories. You might even see them with someone new. The digital afterlife of a relationship makes it harder to heal. In the past, you could walk away and rebuild your life privately. Now the reminders are constant, unless you actively block or mute them. Technology has given us tools to connect, but not necessarily to let go. Let's talk about another crucial dimension: family relationships. Technology has both strengthened and weakened family bonds. On one hand, it allows families separated by distance to stay close. Parents working abroad can video call their children every night. Grandparents can see their grandchildren grow up through pictures and videos. That's beautiful, and something previous generations could only dream of. But on the other hand, when families are together physically, technology can create invisible walls. You've probably seen it: a family sitting around the dinner table, each person scrolling on their phone. They're together, but not present. Children today often learn to swipe before they learn to write. Parents spend so much time online for work or leisure that family time becomes fragmented. Even moments that used to be shared, like watching TV together, are now individualized experiences. Everyone's got their own screen, their own algorithm, their own digital world. The result? Families live under the same roof, but in different realities. What's ironic is that most parents think they're teaching their kids how to use technology responsibly. But in truth, children are learning by watching how their parents use it. If they see their parents constantly scrolling, replying to work emails during dinner, or watching TikToks before bed, that becomes the norm. So, maybe the question isn't, how do we teach kids to use technology wisely? But, how do we model it ourselves? Another area that deserves attention is friendship. Friendship at its core is about shared time and emotional presence. But in the digital age, presence has taken on a new meaning. We can be there without actually being there. A like, a comment, a quick text. These gestures make us feel connected, but they're often shallow substitutes for genuine engagement. There's a kind of maintenance mode friendship now, where people don't talk deeply anymore, but they stay connected enough to keep the bond alive online. We see each other's updates, we send a birthday message, we drop an emoji, and that's it. The relationship survives, but it doesn't grow. In the past, friendship required effort: calls, visits, shared experiences. Now, it's easy to keep dozens of friendships alive on minimal energy, but quantity often replaces quality. We have many acquaintances, but few true friends. Interestingly, studies show that even though people have larger online networks, their inner circle, the few people they truly trust, has actually shrunk over time. That tells us something important. While technology makes connection easier, it doesn't automatically make it deeper. And then, there's the question of trust, the foundation of every relationship. In a world of digital communication, it's easier than ever to mislead, misinterpret, or misunderstand. We see someone's life online and assume it's true. We send messages that can be taken out of context. We hide behind curated images or polished words. Even in romantic relationships, technology introduces new temptations and risks. Flirting through messages, secret online chats, or emotional affairs that happen entirely through screens, these things have become new forms of betrayal. Some call it micro-cheating, not physical, but emotional disloyalty that still hurts deeply. The lines between privacy and secrecy are blurrier than ever. Checking your partner's phone might feel like protecting the relationship, but it's also a breach of trust. And yet, that suspicion often comes from the digital world itself. When everything is connected and visible, we expect full transparency. Technology gives us more information, but not necessarily more trust. There's also a generational divide in how people view digital relationships. Older generations often see technology as something that interferes with relationships, something that makes people antisocial or distracted. Younger generations, however, see it as a natural extension of communication. For them, online connection is real connection. Neither side is entirely wrong. The truth lies in balance. Digital connection is real, but it needs to be complemented by physical, emotional presence. The best relationships today are hybrid, built both online and offline, where technology supports communication but doesn't replace it. Now, let's explore how technology shapes our emotional vocabulary. Before, emotions were shared through tone, body language, eye contact, those subtle, unspoken cues that communicate empathy and warmth. Online, we've replaced much of that with symbols, emojis, reactions, abbreviations. LOL replaces laughter, replaces affection, replaces tears. It's efficient, but also limiting. Complex emotions don't always fit into icons. Over time, we risk losing our sensitivity to emotional nuance. We might say, "I'm fine" in text, and it looks the same whether we're fine or falling apart. Digital communication reduces friction, but also removes texture. And that texture, the pauses, the facial expressions, the tone, is where empathy lives. That's why misunderstandings online happen so easily. Someone types something sarcastic, but it's read as rude. Someone replies late, and it feels like rejection. Without tone and timing, we fill in the blanks, often incorrectly. Technology makes us more connected, but also more prone to emotional confusion. However, it's not all negative. Let's acknowledge the beautiful side of technology too. For many, the digital world has become a lifeline. People in long-distance relationships can see and talk to each other every day. Soldiers overseas can watch their child's first steps. People who are shy or socially anxious can express themselves through writing, gaming, or virtual communities where they feel safe. Technology can unite people who might never have met otherwise. It can give voice to the voiceless, hope to the lonely, and courage to the marginalized. The same tool that isolates some can heal others. It all depends on how we use it. But here's something important. We often treat technology as neutral, as if it's just a tool. Yet in reality, it shapes behavior. The design of platforms encourages certain patterns, scrolling endlessly, checking for notifications, optimizing for attention. That's why being aware of digital design is part of being emotionally healthy today. Apps are built to keep us hooked. Infinite scroll, push notifications, streak counts, all designed to trigger the brain's reward system. When we become conscious of that, we can choose differently. We can reclaim our time, our focus, and our relationships. Let's imagine a simple moment. Two friends sitting in a cafe. One of them gets a message. The phone buzzes, the screen lights up. For a split second, the person's attention shifts away, and the moment of connection is broken. It seems small, but multiplied across days and years, these small moments erode the depth of our interactions. When was the last time you had a conversation without glancing at your phone even once, or listened without thinking about replying? Being truly present is becoming rare, and therefore, precious. Maybe then, the challenge of our time isn't to reject technology, but to reclaim presence. Because the essence of being human is connection. Not just connection of information, but of emotion. Technology can enhance that, but only if we use it consciously. Relationships need slowness. They need silence. They need moments of shared boredom, shared laughter, shared stillness. Technology can connect us instantly, but love and understanding still take time. So perhaps the real measure of progress isn't faster communication, it's deeper communication. As we move into a future with AI companions, virtual reality, and digital avatars, one question remains timeless. What does it mean to feel close to someone? Is it presence, attention, empathy, or just proximity through a screen? Whatever the answer, we must remember that technology is a bridge, not a destination. It can help us reach people, but it cannot replace the human touch, the warmth of a hug, the look in someone's eyes, the sound of laughter shared in the same room. Because no matter how advanced our devices become, the heart still craves what only humans can give: connection, understanding, love. So next time you talk to someone, look up, listen, be there. Not half there, not while scrolling, really there. Technology will keep evolving, but if we can learn to stay human in a digital world, then we won't lose what truly matters. After all, the greatest technology ever created isn't in our hands, it's in our hearts. Thank you for listening. Stay connected, stay kind, and above all, stay human.